Donald Trump just flipped the crypto industry on its head, and nobody's talking about how bullish this actually is. Crypto is one of the few things in this country that isn't tearing everyone apart, and one of the only topics both sides can agree on. So in this video, we're breaking down the future of crypto regulation. All the new bills, acts, and moves being made that will fuel the next bull run. Plus, Trump token has its first token unlock, so stick around until the end so I can break it down for you. And look, if all this feels like a lot or you're new to crypto, don't worry, Crux got you covered, stay tuned. Or as we like to say here, it's time to ape into some alpha. If you're new here, welcome to Alpha Bros, the ultimate pit stop for Web3 wisdom. Smash those likes and hit subscribe to help this channel grow. Crypto might be the only thing in America right now not starting an argument at the family barbecue because of its bipartisanship.
Yeah. Who's hungry?
When you've got the New York Attorney General, one of the toughest regulators in the country, calling for clear crypto laws, while Trump's out here waving the Bitcoin flag, yeah, everyone's tapping in, from hardcore Democrats to MAGA Republicans to get a piece of the pie. Nobody's playing the angle to keep Uncle Sam out of your business harder than Trump himself, with Executive Order 14178 making it clear there will be no government-backed CBDC. For those that don't know, a CBDC is a government-backed digital dollar. But here's the catch. Every single transaction could be tracked, frozen, or controlled at any moment. Instead, he ordered a federal task force to lay the groundwork for crypto regulation, focusing freedom and innovation over control.
And similarly, the SEC has set up a crypto task force led by Hester Peirce, which is also looking at this issue. And together, our objective is to accomplish the task the President assigned for us in his EO, which is to propose a federal regulatory framework governing the issuance and operation of digital assets, including stablecoins, in the United States. I've talked to many founders over the past few years, and they've told me repeatedly that the number one thing they need from Washington is regulatory clarity.
And no, CBDCs weren't the only things getting shut down. Next on the chopping block was the Department of Justice Crypto Enforcement Unit. Their job was to hunt down scams, enforce regulations, and honestly, make it a whole lot harder for crypto companies in the United States. And look, I get it. Protecting people has always been important, but straight up suffocating innovation was never the answer. That's why Trump's next move was targeting one of the most anti-crypto rules we've seen put into place, the DeFi broker rule. This rule tried to label DeFi platforms, which are built to run without centralized control, the same way they label centralized brokers like Coinbase or Robinhood, which makes zero sense. Because how do you expect decentralized protocols to KYC their users or report their taxes when nobody's running it? Yeah, because nothing screams financial freedom like handing over your social security number to every stranger you send crypto to. So, Trump signed legislation to shut that rule down, giving DeFi projects like Aave or Uniswap the chance to breathe again. Now, cleaning up the old rules was just the start. Real change comes from bringing in the new ones, and that's where the FIT21 Act comes in. You see, for years, crypto's been stuck in this weird limbo. Is it a security? Is it a commodity? Or is the SEC just making it up as they go? The FIT21 Act drew the line, giving the CFTC control over digital commodities like Bitcoin, while the SEC stays focused on securities. This is the clarity crypto's been begging for, and now projects know exactly what rules to play by. The final days of this regulatory war are behind us, and with so many major cases getting dropped, crypto is finally getting regulated like gold. But if regulation unlocks adoption, this next move is one of the biggest green lights yet. You see, before this, the SEC had a rule called SAB 121, which scared banks and institutions away from holding crypto for their customers. The SEC forced banks to treat crypto like a liability on their balance sheets, but those days are long gone. SAB 122 replaced it, and it lets banks treat crypto like any other asset they hold in custody. This might sound boring on the surface, but trust me, this is the type of behind-the-scenes change that cleared the runway for Wall Street to flood into crypto. Because get this, while the SEC was cleaning up the accounting side, the FDIC stepped in and handled the other big fear, permission. See, for the longest time, if a bank wanted to handle crypto, staking, custody, and even basic services, they had to get down on one knee and beg for approval. The FDIC just reversed that. Now, banks don't need to ask for permission to touch crypto. They just need to prove they can manage the risk like any other asset. Banks and institutions went from calling crypto risky.
And then there's one which does nothing. I call it the pet rock, the Bitcoin or something like that.
Don't your clients want crypto exposure?
No, I don't believe any client has sought out crypto exposure.
Really?
Yes.
To now begging for Bitcoin custody faster than Solana memes pump.
As you know, I was a skeptic.
Yes.
I was a proud skeptic. And I studied it, learned about it, and I came away saying, okay, my opinion 5 years ago was wrong. Here's my opinion today. This is what I believe in today. I believe the opportunity today. I believe Bitcoin is legitimate.
And while banks are getting comfy with crypto, there's one part of the crypto space that will really improve their efficiency: stablecoins. Up until recently, stablecoins have been living in the Wild West, super useful, super powerful, but super risky in the eyes of the regulators. For those that don't know, stablecoins are cryptocurrencies designed to stay pegged to something stable, like the US dollar, so you can trade, save, or send money without the wild price volatility of regular crypto. And that's exactly why the GENIUS Act is such a big deal.
We must innovate before we regulate. That means allowing innovation to happen here at home in the digital asset space is critical to American economic dominance across the globe. The good news is President Trump is leading the way to a crypto revolution, starting here at the Banking Committee, and that's why we moved very quickly the GENIUS Act, focusing on the crypto world.
It's the first real steps towards making stablecoins legit, with clear rules around how they're backed, how they operate, and how users are protected if something goes south. You know it's good because this bill has bipartisan support. Both sides want stablecoins to work because they know it's a bridge between crypto and everyday payments. But if stablecoins are the bridge, Bitcoin is still the king. And believe it or not, the United States is talking about stacking sats like never before. The Bitcoin Act of 2025 is one of those things that sound wildly optimistic, until you realize it's actually happening. This bill proposes that the United States start stacking Bitcoin like it's digital gold, literally creating a strategic Bitcoin reserve like we have for oil or gold. Think about that for a second. The same country that once tried to choke out crypto is now trying to own the most of it. And if that's not a sign of Bitcoin going mainstream, I don't know what is. And the one leading the charge on the US stacking Bitcoin narrative is Senator Cynthia Lummis, aka crypto's biggest ally in Washington. She introduced a bill that will let the US Treasury start acquiring Bitcoin, treating it like a modern-day gold reserve to protect against inflation, economic risks, or just straight-up US dollar collapsing. 200,000 Bitcoin will be purchased each year, and this bill mandates it must be held for at least 20 years, but that's not enough. Making sure the US controls not just the supply, but the hash rate also promotes further security of the network. And by the way, if this sounds like a wild movie plot, that's because we are literally living in it right now. And Trump has made it clear he wants that mining power right here on US soil. He's publicly supported Bitcoin mining operations, calling it critical for energy independence and even a national security. I've personally been calling it a national security for years, and now I don't sound crazy. Check out my recent video on Alpha Bros why I think Bitcoin and Ethereum are both national securities. But remember when politicians thought Bitcoin was just for criminals? It's crazy. Now they're fighting over mining rights like it's the next Texas oil rush. Even Wall Street's quietly making moves behind the scene. State Street, one of the biggest financial institutions in the world, just dropped a full comprehensive report on how institutions are gearing up for crypto adoption. I'm talking custody services, tokenization plans, stablecoin infrastructure, all being quietly built in the background. And it's not just State Street. The most trusted names in finance like Fidelity, Blackrock, Citadel, they're all here. They're building and they're positioning themselves as if crypto is going to become a normal part of every portfolio in America. And hear me out, it's not about taking huge risks. If just 5% of the global wealth flowed into Bitcoin, we're looking at a price tag of around $1.25 million per coin. A 5% allocation, it won't break your portfolio, but it might be the play that puts you ahead of the biggest monetary shift of this generation. But while the institutions move silent, Trump's family, oh, they've been loud about it. While Trump is handling regulation, his family has been knee-deep in crypto for a while. Melania Trump dropped her own NFT collection back in 2021 and even has her own token now. Donald Trump Jr. has openly supported crypto on social media and also co-founded WLFI with his brother Eric Trump in late 2024. And let's not forget, Trump himself went from calling Bitcoin a scam.
Bitcoin, it just seems like a scam.
to basically positioning itself as America's next power play.
Bitcoin is going to the moon, as we say, it's going to the moon. I want America to be the nation that leads the way, and that's what's going to happen.
And while Trump's family has been building in Web3, now entire US states are looking to get in on the action. Texas is pushing to create a strategic Bitcoin reserve with up to $250 million from its rainy day fund. And other states like Arizona are leading the way, with New Hampshire and Alabama hot on its heels. Look, we're talking bills that would allow state treasurers to invest 5 to 10% of public funds directly into Bitcoin and crypto. And so far, 28 US states have introduced proposals to allocate public funds towards digital assets. Think about it, over half of the country is now actively considering Bitcoin a strategic asset. And there's one more thing stirring up this whole narrative, and that's Trump's very own Trump token unlocking tomorrow. Yep, we really live in a time where the United States president has his own token trading on the blockchain. Trump token is set to unlock over $312 million worth of tokens, which is 4% of the total supply, on April 18th, all at once in a cliff unlock. And after the initial cliff unlock, the rest of the insider allocation will be released gradually, with hundreds of thousands of tokens vesting daily over the next 24 months. To be exact, that is 493,000 tokens, or about $4 million per day across the next 2 years. This unlock is part of the original tokenomics, where tokens were allocated to insiders like the Trump media team, early investors, and project contributors. These tokens don't automatically sell against the market, but they become available to the holders in case they want to. And anytime that much supply unlocks at once, it creates a lot of uncertainty because no one really knows how much is going to get sold. The way that I look at it, if you're a Trump supporter, you could invest in this token and possibly make a lot of money, or you could lose it all, in which the proceeds go to Trump and his team. Think of it as a gambling donation. Either way, Trump wins. Imagine telling your financial advisor you aped into a meme coin only to support the president. Now that's generational content right there. Now, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Over the last year, crypto regulation in the United States has been completely flipped. What started as fear, lawsuits, and uncertainty has turned into clarity, structure, and even government adoption. From banning a US CBDC to proposing a strategic Bitcoin reserve, this timeline shows just how fast crypto went from being attacked to being embraced. And if you're still sleeping on crypto after this, that's okay. Washington and Wall Street will be happy to take your bags. Your move. If you learned something, subscribe for more heat. This channel is just getting started. We have over 3,000 members in our Discord because we post the deepest plays and 24/7 content. Jump in, it's free. Thanks for watching, and here's another video to keep your vibes up. I was your host Crux signing out. Be patient, keep persistent, stay alpha.